Hi everyone, welcome to a video reviewing Algebra 2, Chapter 5, Lesson 8, Curve Fitting with Quadratic Models. In this video, we're going to focus on real-world application questions where your data set approximates a parabola, but it is not exact. So we're going to do a quadratic regression. So I have some steps written out for us, and I do have a practice question we're going to be working through. Step 1 says to decide which variable is independent and which is dependent. Use keywords such as based on. Based on usually precedes the independent variable. So let's take a look at an example question to see what we can figure out. It says the table shows approximate run times for 16 millimeter films. Given the diameter of the film on the reel, find a quadratic model for the run time given the diameter. Use the model to estimate the run time for a reel of film with a diameter of 15 inches. So it says find a quadratic model for the runtime given the diameter. So runtime is going to be our dependent variable. Diameter is independent because it says given the diameter. So that's what I'm inputting. Runtime is the output I want. So this middle column is extra information. The next step says to go to the stat menu in your calculator. So on my calculator, I'm going to press the stat button. It says enter the data for the independent variable in list 1 and dependent in list 2. So to get into the list, I hit enter on edit. Now the independent variable, the x, goes in list 1 and the y goes in list 2. So in list 1, I'm going to type these numbers. So I hit 5, 7, and so on, and I'll type that in a minute. In list 2, I'm going to type the runtime numbers. So let me get those numbers in, and then we'll see what our next step is. So I have all my numbers in my tables now. Now it's always a good idea to double check them against the tables from your table because I type them wrong sometimes. It's very easy to miss a number. And if you miss a number or type something wrong, you're going to get a wrong answer. So now I just have to exit the stat menu. So I'm going to hit second and mode to quit. And I'm going to go back into the stat menu and scroll to the calculate menu. So stat and scroll right to calculate. And I need the quadratic regression feature. So that's number 5. Now, I have a new operating system on here, so it brings up this menu. And if you have an old operating system, you just have to hit enter one more time and you'll be done. But I have a few extra steps because this will help me later on. So I scroll down to store regression equation. I press the variables button, which is right here. I go over to y variables. I hit enter on function and hit enter on y1. And then I calculate. And what that's going to do is it's going to take the function that I just calculated and put it into the menu of my y equals menu. So it's going to input that data for me. So this is your model. So this is the a value in this general function. This is the b value for the general function. This is the c value. So if it's just asking for a quadratic model, all I have to do is write a, b, and c in this function. So let me show you what that would look like. Okay, so this is the model I got. I just rounded to 3 decimal places. I always keep at least 2, if not 3 decimal places. So this is my model. Now, there was a second part of a question. It says use the model to estimate the run time for a reel of film with a diameter of 15 inches. So diameter was the input. I have to put 15 inches into this. Now, your calculator can do that for you. That's why we did those few extra steps with putting it into our y equals menu. Notice this is the actual function without a lot of rounding. Those are the unrounded values. Well, it's rounded to where the calculator can keep the numbers in its programming. Now, if you go into y equals and this is not here, so let me clear that. If you see this instead, what you can do is press variables, go down to 5 statistics because we want something from our stat menu, select equation, EQ, and hit enter on a regression equation because that's what I want it to import. And now this was my regression equation. Now to find 15 inches, all I have to go into is the table. So second and graph will get you your table. You scroll down to 15. So 15 was 54.517. So that is the estimated run time for a 15-inch diameter film. So that's my second answer. And I'm done. So let me know if you have any questions. This is a longer process. There's a lot going on here, but hopefully that was clear.